1158. One 158. Hey, what's up, SML? How's it going? Hi, guys. Uh-oh. Somebody's looking for Kornacki. Does that mean that we've got elections going on tonight? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is Kornacki up tonight? Okay. I better break it to the stream that Kornacki is not here. Hi, everybody. I see Myrinsk. I'm really sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not Kornacki. It's... Stay tuned now. This is a different show on NBC News Now, and we know that there's going to be some returns a little bit later tonight at around 10. But this stream is the news. It's going to be my show that starts in about 9 minutes, and it's the news of the day. And it's all kinds of different stuff. We've got weather. We've got the latest in the conflict of what's happening between the United States and Iran. We've got some space news. We've got the latest in the trial of singer David, or what's looking like it's headed to trial. So all kinds of stuff here coming up. SML, who am I on the phone with? I was trying to get a hold of my dad, but I think his cell phone died. Chiron, hello. H-Day, hello, how's it going? SML, yes, Lisa is back. Kevin, Twitch is up. Myrinsk, I still love your show, whoever you are. Wait, Myrinsk, you don't even know. You don't even know what's about to happen. You have stumbled upon a secret in the broadcast news world. Don't tell people. I'm trying to keep it like low key. If you have too many people in the comments, it doesn't work. But here's what you're looking at here. So you see this above me, all those people, that is 30 Rockefeller. That is the control room here. That is all of the people that make this show work. Then below me, the lady that just popped up, that's Lisa. She is the executive producer of this show. Over here, wait, no, this way. Over here, that's me sitting in the studio here at 30 Rockefeller. You want to see? I'll show you. That's what it looks like. All right, so this is our studio, right? These are the cameras. That's Evie over there. This is her domain. She's in charge of all of the movements in this fine establishment. And guess what? In 7 minutes, we are gonna start doing the news. It's not gonna look like it looks right now. It's gonna be nice and polished, and I'll be talking to the camera. I am wearing jeans. It's a little bit different. We kind of keep it pretty casual and low-key here. Normally I live in Los Angeles, and we do the show from Los Angeles, which I constantly claim allows us to, lower the vibes when it comes to presenting the news. I brought my blue jeans to New York, and I'm hoping that we get to keep doing it in this low-key kind of way. But it's going to be 8 o'clock here on the East Coast, and we're easing into the evening. And so, this is the news with a little bit of a dose of maybe things will be okay tomorrow. I know things seem very confusing all over the world, and it's a very weird time to be alive. But I'm how did I describe it? A skeptical optimist, or an optimistic skeptic? Anyway, I'm trying to infuse as much optimism as humanly possible in the news whenever we get a chance. So towards the end and middle of the show, you'll start to see some of that. We do a lot of reporting on space, and we do a lot of reporting on the future. We do a lot of reporting on where tech is right now. And so we'll be seeing some of that. I'm very excited about this talk that we're going to have with Michio Kaku. How long am I going to be in New York? James, I'm not 100% sure. Blue Dew. Yo, shout out to Blue Dew, MS2. Great to see you. I do stay in Manhattan. How many cameras are in the studio? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cameras in this studio. You think gas will be around $5 near Christmas? Ashley Sawyer, I think you're probably right. It already is that in Los Angeles and California, so I'm like, $5 sounds cheap. But what if I told you that in this show, we are going to have a segment about not only gas here on planet Earth, but gas on a moon of Jupiter, Titan, where it rains methane. And guess what? All of a sudden, all of the next generation spaceships that we're building, Starship, Blue Origin, guess what they're powered by? They're powered by methalox. So methane rains on Titan, and there are lakes of methane. And now we're going to talk to Michio Kaku about, the plans to make Titan somewhat of a fuel depot, or something that will allow us to extend further out as we venture into the stars. Yeah, go for it. Yes. Will we do that? Okay. Are they on that mountain? Okay. Just another wave of strikes? Okay. A9, coming in. All right, guys. So that was the control room. That was Todd in the control room telling me that we've got an update on one of the scripts. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to check that script. And let's see. I don't know if I see the new one. Is it just 11? Okay. Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. And then we go straight to Gabe. Okay, cool. All right. Suzanne, hello. How's it going? Would Jupiter act as a shield, like making it safe for the Titan depot? I think Jupiter, I think it's just a waypoint in the solar system. I don't know if it would be a shield. How often do you go live? Stan J. We go live. We try to go live every day, so you could come check out the news right here on TikTok or Twitch or YouTube as you're watching it. Or the craziest thing is, this is on television, like the old school TV on the wall. If you find NBC News Now on whatever your TV, like Roku or you got Samsung or something like that, look for NBC News Now. Right now you'll see the end of Top Story, and in just a little bit you'll see the beginning of show. Stay tuned now. And again, the way that this works is here you'll see the show, and then you'll see the behind the scenes. And then during the commercial breaks, we'll be able to chat. You tell me something in the comment section that's nice or maybe on point or very relevant about what we're talking about. I'll try to get those questions answered if I see them in time, and then we can talk about it. And then during the show, I just gotta lock in, do the thing, and that's how a two-way street news broadcast works. We're trying it out, trying to pioneer some stuff over here. Yes, I saw that too, SML. Pretty great stuff. Los Angeles is not the same. Oh, Mao! Dude, I miss you, bro. Miss you so much. All right, have a good show. 90 back. Here we go. Interesting. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put you guys on main because it looks like there's a bunch of people that are watching this for the very first time, and you'll see the behind the scenes here. We're going extreme weather, right? Here to there? Walking all the way back? Okay, got it. And then are we walking down the walls? Okay, got it. And then we're tossing to Aaron, right? Okay, got it. All right, cool. 40 seconds? 40 seconds. Okay, so 30 seconds. This is when the show starts. Actually, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to put picture in picture. So down here, you see all of us walking around, starting to get a little bit nervous, heart starting to race a little bit. Then we're going to lock in and do the news.
All right, 15 out.
15 out. Have a great show. Control room. Have a great show, Lisa. Have a good show, Evie. Have a good show, guys.
8, 7, 6, 5 seconds, 4, 3.
Hey there, I'm Gotti Schwartz, and tonight we start with dangerous weather stretching across the country. The National Weather Service says Tropical Storm Bertha is now building closer to Gulf states with over 60-mile-an-hour winds, and at least 87 million people across the Northeast are under severe weather alerts. Torrential rain, we've got damaging winds, some major flash flooding that we've been seeing, like the one that you're seeing here. This is in Maryland, where it's already washing out some roads. And then look at this. If we have it, that's a funnel cloud. That is a funnel cloud forming in New Jersey, which is under a tornado watch right now, along with states like New York, Pennsylvania. Very rare. I want to show you just how wild this is. This is New York City today. We sped up the video, but you can see it's only a minute difference here. That's how quickly all of that rain came down here in the city. And this is all happening while those down south are prepping for Tropical Storm Bertha, heading west towards Louisiana and Mississippi, where 2 to 4 feet of storm surge and coastal flooding is expected. Our meteorologist, Bill Cairns, is watching out for all of this. But first, let's bring in Aaron McLaughlin here in New Jersey.
Hey there, it was a harrowing day of severe storms across the Northeast with multiple tornado warnings just to the west of New York City. And there were at least 2 reports of tornadoes in Morris County, New Jersey. One storm snapped trees, leaving roads blocked as drivers came across the damage. Torrential rain fell across the tri-state area. We saw it firsthand in New York City with flashes of lightning and thunder. Flooding was also an issue throughout the day. Drivers were navigating water-covered streets as far south as Ocean City, Maryland. Down south along the Gulf Coast, Tropical Storm Bertha is churning offshore, prompting people in Louisiana to fill sandbags to protect their homes, while dangerous surf and rip currents have beaches in Florida flying double red flags. Meanwhile, out west, it's all about the monsoon rains flooding parts of Prescott, Arizona, and heavy rain set mud and debris across Interstate 70 in western Colorado, forcing part of the highway to shut down. Here in New Jersey, I spoke to one man who said he was driving along this road when all of a sudden this wall of water just came gushing toward him, stranding him in his vehicle. He told me the water was all the way up to that tree. Now you can see the waters are receding. He's safe. They towed his car, but it's a powerful demonstration of just how dangerous these flash floods can be. Back to you.
Aaron McLaughlin with that powerful reminder. Thank you. And joining us now is George Solis, who is on the ground for us in New Orleans. George, it's looking like this is not going to turn into a hurricane as we know it, but how bad is it going to get?
Yeah, not a hurricane, and that's something that a lot of residents here are obviously very grateful of, especially in the New Orleans area, but they know how quickly these things can turn. And so one of the key things that we've been hearing from folks here on the ground is they want to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So what you're seeing behind me here is a sand distribution site. This has sort of been a hot spot today. People have been coming and going, filling as many bags as they need here in this particular parish. We're in St. Bernard Parish, about 20 minutes outside of New Orleans. Folks are coming, grabbing 5, 7, even I saw some people packing 2 different cars of sandbags because they want to make sure that their homes are safe for whatever Tropical Storm Bertha does. And as I'm talking to you guys, you can see some more vehicles pulling up, and it's pretty self-explanatory. They'll fill these bags, and in some cases, they'll actually have some volunteer firefighters here, or we've even helped a few folks fill their cars up with bags here. So it's just sort of everyone helping one another right now for whatever this storm does. But as you mentioned, for the moment, it does appear this is going to be just an inconvenience for a day, but nothing more than that.
Oh, hopefully it stays that way. What are you hearing from the people on the ground there?
Yeah, they're concerned. I mean, like I said, these folks have seen a lot of different storms over the years, and they know that at any moment, a storm can go from really okay to bad to extremely worse. So we've been talking to people that have been filling up bags here like these folks are about to do. And here's a little bit of a sampling of what they've been telling us, Scotty.
I have flashlights. I make sure I have batteries and also food in case my electricity goes out. Usually doesn't go out very much often, but like I said, you never know. I just want to prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
I'd rather be safe than sorry. Take the precautions and the safety measurements that I need and make sure that my house or my kids' mom's house don't get filled in with water.
Yeah, Gotti, and again, because people are coming up here you go, sir. Again, everyone helping one another to pack some of these bags here for whatever, again, the storm does. Folks saying they want to be prepared. You heard from that one woman there saying she has her flashlights. Again, the stores seem pretty okay right now. And here in this parish, talking to officials, they're asking people to, of course, make sure that all the drainage ditches are clear of any debris. So when the crews come out to get some of that stuff cleaned up, it's not as bad, and hopefully those waters start to recede. But as you mentioned, I mean, some of the storm surge could be bad as we get closer to the coast, but at least here as we get further inland, it's looking to be okay. Gotti?
Yeah, again, let's hope so. And real fast, that Bertha, we were looking at it earlier in the newsroom. It was kind of an unusual looking storm, right?
A little bit. It definitely seems like it's not quite in terms of its shape, but that's really more perhaps of a meteorological question, but just looking at it itself and how it's been forming and where it's going. I mean, this thing looks like it's going to pretty much max out as it hits Louisiana and then hopefully begin to weaken very quickly as it hits further west, which would be a good thing for the folks out in Texas who, as we've been reporting on, obviously cannot deal and certainly don't need any more rain after what they have been through. So again, we're looking closely at those forecasts. And again, the folks here are going to prepare. And of course, we're bracing for it, and we'll, of course, bring you the latest as we all prepare for Bertha. Gotti.
George Solis, thank you so much. Let's bring in now our meteorologist, Bill Cairns, for what's ahead in the forecast here. Bill?
Gotti, has been another very difficult day for anyone traveling by air in the Northeast. We've had numerous cases of flash flooding, a couple reported tornadoes in Kentucky and in areas of New Jersey. We'll wait for confirmation in the days ahead. And we still have isolated strong thunderstorms, especially traveling through Virginia. They'll be heading through Maryland and Delaware and then off the coast tonight. A lot of these severe thunderstorm watches will be expiring in the next hour or two. The flash flooding has really been pretty epic in a few spots around New York City, especially southern Connecticut, and then also right around Richmond. We got a flash flood warning just to the north of Washington, D.C. Numerous flash flood warnings today, central Kentucky and also northern portions of West Virginia. Here's the rainfall totals around the New York City area. Southern portions of the city weren't too bad, but heading north into the Bronx, Westchester, Fairfield County here, Connecticut, this is 4 inches of rain, a big swath, and it happened in a short period of time. And it did lead to a lot of flash flooding, especially in urban areas, underpasses, bridges, things like that. This area from Stamford to New Canaan, all the way back towards Greenburgh. And as far as what we're going to deal with at the airports, it's going to be a night of catch-up and a day of catch-up, too. We still have 1 to 2 hour arrival delays. Lots of flights have been canceled throughout the region. Ground stops when the thunderstorms have gone through. And this is like 3 of the last 4 days that we've had to deal with this. Saturday was just as bad as what we've dealt with today. Now, as far as Bertha goes, this is a tropical storm, has 60-mile-per-hour winds, but most of the worst of the storm is to the south, away from land, and that's really helping things out. You can see where the center is spinning here, all of the heavy thunderstorm activities on the south side. It's actually been sunny most of the day on the north side of this storm. So as the Hurricane Center forecast takes it right along the northern Gulf, it's going to be close enough to land to be weakening. There's some dry air moving in, so the wind speeds will actually be dying down. Only southern Louisiana has a chance of getting winds, say maybe 30, 40 miles per hour, and even by Louisiana standards, that's not going to cause a lot of damage. The one problem we are going to have, though, especially at high tides, is the water is going to be much higher than normal. Storm surge possible around 2 to 4 feet coastal Mississippi, also down towards the mouth of the Mississippi River. New Orleans itself, we don't have to worry about any storm surge problems there. In the rainfall, because of this storm system is asymmetrical with all the heavy rains to the south, only really southern portions of Louisiana will deal with heavy rainfall. So we'll keep an eye on it. You never know with these storms in the Gulf of Mexico, but as far as Bertha goes, still looks like more of an inconvenience than anything else.
Bill Cairns, thanks so much. Meanwhile, the war in Iran is only showing signs of escalation, with tonight making 11 straight days of strikes. And now the Pentagon wants around $70 billion more to fund that war. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth made that bid to senators on Capitol Hill today, where he also faced questions about how Iran has been able to keep up their attacks for this long.
Mr. Secretary, Iran has been firing at U.S. military bases in the region and its ships for the last week. How is it possible, if their capabilities were, quote, functionally destroyed 3 months earlier, as she claimed, for them to be doing this now?
Well, Senator, Iran is at the weakest point militarily it has ever been in the past decade. So I acknowledge
clearly
they still have capabilities, no doubt. But the amount of damage that we've done to them over the course of these series of operations has put them in the worst place they've ever been.
And for more, let's go to NBC News senior White House correspondent Gabe Gutierrez.
Tonight, the fighting in the Middle East spilling onto key U.S. allies. Iran says it's targeted Amazon's data infrastructure in Bahrain, as well as radar systems in Kuwait, while the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen have declared a Red Sea blockade on Saudi Arabia, all as President Trump doubles down.
And we're not finished at all.
Now his administration is providing a new estimate for the Iran war's cost so far, $37.5 billion taxpayer dollars.
And we cannot afford inaction.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane grilled on Capitol Hill.
We need some hard answers and some straight talk.
And again in February, Democrats blasting Hegseth's leadership.
You, sir, are the failure. You don't have a long-term plan to actually win this war. Win the war. The men and women are going to be able to do it, but they need to have leadership. When will you show leadership? When will you show leadership?
Why don't you show some leadership and stand up to your fellow Democrats who won't fund the troops, who stand and play partisan politics while you don't give us the money?
Tomorrow, President Trump is set to attend a dignified transfer ceremony for the latest American casualties, including 30-year-old Sergeant Michael Swinton, who the Pentagon says was killed while disposing of a drone in northern Iraq.
It's a great honor for me to do it. These are people that want it, and they feel like I do, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
The president also issuing a new threat today for a key site inside Iran. He was pressed on whether he'd strike Pickaxe Mountain, a fortified area near one of Iran's main nuclear facilities. The president saying the U.S. will be hitting it pretty soon and, quote, very heavily. Gotti?
Gabe Gutierrez at the White House. Gabe, thank you. And remember Nicolas Maduro, the former Venezuelan president, and his wife that are currently sitting in a Brooklyn detention center? That is all after the United States captured him in that nighttime raid back in January and brought him here on narco-terrorism charges. Well, tomorrow, Maduro is going to be making his first appearance in federal court in months at this pretrial hearing where both sides will meet before a judge. And given how this special forces arrest / capture / extradition went down, this is going to be a complicated one. Joining us now is NBC News legal analyst Angela Sinadella that joins us in the studio. Angela, great to see you in person. First off, what should we be looking for tomorrow?
Hi, Gotti. So look, even though the characters at play are very interesting, right, tomorrow's actually going to be very boring. And that's because nothing about the fight itself is actually going to be in play. It's really just a question of how the fight will be scheduled, what sort of motions calendar will be set up, and discovery rules. Also, there's a question about classified material. And so all of these things will be battled out in court, but none of the meat's going to be at play tomorrow, none of the questions of sovereign immunity, et cetera.
Those are the questions that everybody's looking at here, right? Sovereign immunity, what this extradition looked like, and what kind of precedent this could set in the future, whether or not this is pulling from precedent of what's happened in Latin America with Noriega in the past. The meat and potatoes of that, how do you see all of that playing out?
So this is really crazy because this is something that might happen once in a generation, right? But the reason why the precedent is important is because Trump has noted this could happen again, that maybe his intention is to keep bringing these similar events. So that's why what happens here could really matter, even though it's going to take a long time. Now, the actual meat and potatoes of any prosecution is whether or not the defendant is guilty. That's not even the big question here, right? The big question is whether or not the U.S. had the authority or whether or not they violated international law by bringing him over in the middle of the night in this whole kidnapping context. Now, there are a lot of questions here. The first is whether or not this did violate the extradition treaty between Venezuela and the U.S. And one argument that the U.S. always uses, as they did in Noriega, was that the question question here is not whether or not he is the head of state, it's whether or not he is recognized as the head of state by the government. And Trump here has said that because he himself does not recognize him as the head of state, that the extradition here does apply. But that's just one of the issues. The other question is whether or not this should be arbitrated, because in the treaty itself, it does say, as in most of the clauses that we sign, most of our contracts, that any dispute should be considered by an arbitrator. So there is an outside shot that tomorrow the judge would consider, if the defense brings it up, that this should go out to independent evaluators and be considered by arbitrators before even coming back to court.
Do you think that that defense is going to be swinging for those fences right out of the gate?
I mean, look, we also see the defense having just hired this new star attorney, the one who got Combs acquitted. So it's certainly possible that they're going to bring a new strategy, and this could be a strong one, Gotti.
Again, this is the legal world coinciding with the geopolitics. I mean, what a crazy case to watch. Thank you so very much for your insight. Angeles and Adela, thank you. Meanwhile, we are getting some, this is very hard to hear. Honestly, they're very gruesome details that are straight out of this Los Angeles courtroom today. This judge is set to decide whether there's enough evidence to put singer David on trial. He's accused of killing and dismembering a teenage girl after she threatened to expose their relationship. And today marked day one of a preliminary hearing that's set up more like a mini trial. These prosecutors are not holding back in this one at all. In court today, lawyers showing some very graphic photos of then 14-year-old Celeste Rivas' body after it was found in pieces by a detective in the front trunk of a Tesla registered to David, whose legal name is David Burke. Our team in court saying Rivas' mom wiped away tears while those pictures were shown. The singer was charged with murder, child sex abuse, mutilation of human remains. The district attorney's office hasn't decided whether they're going to seek the death penalty for Burke yet, but we did hear from the DA himself a little bit earlier.
We believe we will more than accomplish the evidentiary burden of probable cause at this point to hold David to answer on these 3 felony charges.
NBC's Camila Bernal joins us now. Camila, we've already heard so much about the evidence in this case. What more did prosecutors share today?
Yeah, Gotti, so it's interesting because we talked about some of the Amazon purchases that prosecutors have that they believe he made, things like chainsaws, the inflatable pool, a burn cage. Well, today we also found out from these investigators that they actually found these items at David's home, and we did not know that. You mentioned some of these gruesome photos, and I do want to warn you that some of the details could be disturbing for you, but in those photos, you can actually see Celeste Rivas' leg, her knee in particular, and you can see the pieces of that pool, of the inflatable pool. You could see that it's blue, essentially, and obviously just a decomposed body, just horrible photos to have to witness inside of the courtroom. We also heard from a music executive, sort of a financial manager for David, who actually told us that he made millions of dollars, between $10 and $11 million. So this is going to motive here. This is a lot more money than we knew he was making. And so all of this is the prosecution sort of piecing together motive and what exactly happened from the day that they went to visit him at his home to ask for Celeste Rivas. We also actually, I don't know if we knew this before, but he actually had Celeste tattooed on his finger as well as, and she had that as well. So again, he said that he actually didn't really know Celeste, but we're seeing so many more details of how prosecutors are piecing everything together to try to get to him. The defense, I will say, pointed out that there were 2 chainsaws that they tested and they did not find blood on those chainsaws, but there is one that's still essentially missing. So we'll see what the defense comes up with later on, but that's sort of the new stuff that we got today, Gotti.
Yeah, and seeing those photos, and it looks like what you were just talking about, the tattoos depicted on those photos. I mean, what exactly does the prosecution need to prove here, since there seems to be like a mountain of evidence, enough to go to trial?
Yeah, and the bar is not necessarily high. It's just probable cause. They don't have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, which is why you heard the DA there feeling very certain that they're going to be able to meet this threshold. But at the end of the day, the judge has to listen to these arguments, and she will make a decision on whether or not this moves to trial, Gotti.
Do you think that we're going to see this turn into that, I hate to say it, but stereotypical Los Angeles, like blockbuster celebrity case that we sometimes see from Los Angeles?
So, Gotti, I think it does have the ingredients for that, but I think the biggest thing that's missing here is video. We don't have a live stream. We don't get to watch every single second, all of those moments. So a lot of times when we want to see or hear this blockbuster trial, it's because we're following it every step of the way through video. That's not the case with David, so it's unlikely. But I do think we'll have these moments that will be explosive, that we will continue to talk about because of how gruesome and how unbelievable this case is.
Camila Bernal, always appreciate your reporting. Camila, thank you. And don't go anywhere. Coming up next, disturbing video shows a man shooting an AR-15 style rifle through a Las Vegas neighborhood. More on what went down there. Plus, the mission to get people beyond Mars could include a pit stop on one of maybe Jupiter's moons. Why scientists say it could serve as an interplanetary gas station. Also, if you see this is a QR code, and you can pull out your phone and you can scan through and you can actually chat with us live. Let us know your thoughts. That'll take you behind the scenes streaming on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch. We're jumping into the chat right now. Shoot. I'm sorry, what was that? Oh, good. Levels of gas. Would you know which question that was? Question 2? I'll do it. I'm in right now. Hold on real fast. I think it's question 2. Cool. I'll just take it out.
Right, coming up on a minute.
All right. Here we go. Okay, we got 1 minute, and we're over there. All right, what are you guys talking about here? I honestly insane seeing these comments. Thank you for reporting the news. Shady Side Son, thanks so much. A real person. What up? Federal agent. Hello, San Pedro Sula, Honduras. How long to get to Jupiter? 9 months from Mars? I don't know. Can somebody find out and tell us? Steve Kornacki. Oof. Sorry, guys. I'm not Steve Kornacki. I wish I was, but I'm not. What else? Hey, Gotti. I'm getting new glasses soon. I want to get glasses like yours. They look cool, whatnot. Warby Parker, they've got some that look exactly like this. I love your studio. Which studio is your studio? 30 seconds. All right.
15.
How much time do we have for Michio Kaku, Lise? Okay, perfect. Yeah, we're going to get, I think, 2 questions.
9, 8,
Okay.
7, 6, 5 seconds, 4, 3.
Hey, welcome back. Here are some other headlines that we were watching tonight. In India, at least 12 people are dead and 13 others are missing after a tunnel collapsed. Officials think a gas explosion ripped through the tunnel yesterday as 21 workers were inside. The conditions inside are so toxic that rescuers with oxygen masks could only go inside for about 15-minute shifts. And 2 American tourists are on the mend after they were stabbed today at the Acropolis in Greece. Police say a 60-year-old Greek man attacked the couple seemingly out of nowhere. They think he was having some sort of psychological episode. And child actor Kaylee Hoddle died early this morning from a car accident in Maryland. The 18-year-old actor was known for her role in the Godzilla movies. And in Wisconsin, a sanitation worker was hurt after an oxygen tank exploded inside of a garbage truck. That moment was caught on camera as workers loaded the trash bins. Jeez. Police are investigating, but they think someone improperly threw away the pressurized canisters, which is not allowed to be thrown away with the regular trash. So please don't do that. And look at a very scary moment in Southern California. A great white shark, a little too close for comfort. Just a few feet away from some kids in the water. They seem to have no idea what's happening underneath the surface of the sea. The guy who took that video said that the shark appeared to be hurt and luckily swam away after circling around the kids playing. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Meanwhile, there is a new video that has surfaced in the mysterious death investigation of 18-year-old Nolan Wells. It's a glimpse of him on a boat around the same time, or around the time he disappeared back on July 4th. NBC's Aaron Gilchrist has the latest.
Tonight, new video shows what could be an image of Nolan Wells on the day he went missing off the Mississippi coast. TMZ posting this video they say was taken on Horn Island on July 4th, the last day the 18-year-old was seen alive. The clip appears to show a man standing on the back of a boat bending over. The man's face is never seen, but the shorts the man is wearing are similar to shorts Nolan had in other pictures from that day. NBC News was able to match the location to previously verified video of Horn Island from that day. Two people who knew Nolan say they believe it looks like him, but they can't be certain. Nolan went to the island with friends on July 4th. His body was found 2 days later. It's unclear whether Nolan was with anyone when he disappeared. The boat in the video is not the same one Nolan took to Horn Island that day. TMZ reports that the video was dropped off to the Jackson County Sheriff, and investigators are aware of the clip. NBC News has reached out to the sheriff's office and the family's attorney about the footage and has not heard back from either. Melissa Miller spent the 4th of July with her own group of friends on Horn Island.
It's not uncommon for people to, take different boats back because, it's a big boating community. A lot of people know each other.
Meanwhile, the family's attorney says tomorrow they'll announce preliminary findings from their independent autopsy. All of this as some question if this video could reveal new clues about Nolan's last day. Aaron Gilchrist, NBC News, Ocean Springs, Mississippi.
Aaron, thank you. And video catches a man in Las Vegas walking through a neighborhood there, firing an AR-15 style rifle at a bunch of homes. That man tried banging on someone's door while holding the gun before shooting erratically. Luckily, no one was hurt, but at least one house was hit with several rounds, and somebody inside was sheltering in place.
What the? Oh. Get down. Get down.
So scary. The suspect was eventually caught by police, but officers say he later became unresponsive while in custody and then died at the hospital. Let's bring in Dana Griffin to talk a little bit more about what happened. Dana, how did this go down, and do we know how he died?
Yes, so this all unfolded Sunday around noon. As you saw in that video, this man shows up randomly with an AR-15, according to police, starts shooting at cars, shooting at homes. You saw that man, his family, they were inside their home filming before the gunman turns it toward their home. He actually had to tell his family to duck and take cover. The man has not been identified, and a lot of these neighbors say they've never seen him. So the motive behind all this is really unclear. Now, some neighbors say that once investigators and police officers tried to apprehend him, he tripped, fell, and never got back up. One neighbor describing paramedics giving him Narcan to try to revive him. Police believe he was impaired, but this is all part of the investigation. How he got there, why he was there, that's all a big mystery, Gotti.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like so many subdivisions across the West, right? Just a normal neighborhood. What are people saying?
Oh my gosh, neighbors were terrified. The guy that you showed that video of, Ryan Adams, he described just that horrifying moment. Listen.
Scary, really scary. Just starts letting loose at the house, and just taking fire on a Sunday at noon was a little abnormal for our neighborhood.
And he later took our NBC affiliate KSNV through his home. You could still see some of the bullet holes that pierced the interior of his home. Even one of those rounds was lodged in there. So obviously a very terrifying situation, Gotti.
And are we going to see any body cam footage on, how the arrest went down, what ended up happening with the death there?
That's a really great question, because in the Ring camera footage, you don't see on camera what happens after he takes off running. I called the North Las Vegas Police Department. They tell me they do plan to release body cam video, and that could happen as early as Thursday, Gotti.
It's so scary for those neighbors. I'm glad no one was hurt. Dana Griffin, thank you so much. And coming up, the Defense Department is releasing a new report on their findings into UAPs, what they reveal, and, what they don't reveal. That's coming up.
All right. Here we go. NBC News exclusive. We've got Tom Costello coming up, right? Tom. Let's see where we're at here. Okay. Okay, got it. Okay, good. Good to know. All right, that's great news. Lisa said I could ask a lot of questions with Michio, which I'm very excited about. Michio Kaku, like famed astrophysicist, he's coming up. Does Michio have a favorite new UAP video from the releases? That's a very great question. Maybe I'll try to. Oh, Lisa's already yelled. Wait, hold on. If you're gonna yell at the chat, go ahead.
They can hear me. They hear me. I wanted to go on the record as saying you had a little bit of extra time. Not you can ask him everything you want about.
Yeah. This is Lisa. Lisa reins us in here. Vickle the Pickle. Will Steve Kornacki be on tonight? I am so sorry, guys. I'm not Steve Kornacki. I'm not him, and I wish I was. You know, the worlds are colliding. No, I have a show from 8 to 9 o'clock here on the East Coast, 5 to 6 on the West Coast on NBC News Now, and you should watch it. But yes, you should also watch Steve Kornacki. He's amazing. I'm not sure if he's going to be on tonight. We need to get this man a pair of khakis. That is so true. Actually, staying put?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Coming up on
Okay. Tape. Okay, got it. It's funny that Hi says we need to give this man a pair of khakis, considering right before the show started, before we started pre-tapes and stuff, I was wearing khakis. I was wearing massive khakis.
Guys,
like,
there was khaki drama. Okay.
yeah, I was wearing very large, like I was trying to do like the Gen Z, like big pants, like but keep it classy kind of khakis.
And he didn't. Yeah,
it didn't work.
No.
I had to change.
You didn't
I
think
had
it
to run
worked.
down,
We didn't
and I had
see
to
it,
find
but-
some jeans, and I had to change. So I tried to do the Kornacki khakis. I tried to do like our own version of like, comfortable ones. I'm not as fashion forward as I thought I was. Anyway, coming up, UAP, right?
Yep, UAP with Kristen Fisher.
All right, Kristen Fisher, Endless Void, UAP. Very excited about it. In 15 seconds, I'm gonna go full show for that. All right?
10 seconds. 9, 8, 7,
6.
5 to the pre-tape. 4.
Here we go, guys.
2.
And welcome back. Tonight, a new UAP report from the Pentagon complying with that mandated tell us what you know about UFOs law that passed in Disclosure Day. This is not. Think like more of a PowerPoint that neither confirmed nor denies the existence of aliens. But that middle ground is very, very important because the first order of business has to be separating signal from the noise here. And this is looking at 319 UAP reports from June 2nd, 2024 to May 30th, 2025. A very recent history. 114 of them have been resolved. They are balloons or birds or satellites. Also, there was one rocket launch, one manned jetpack. No details on the jetpack. Maybe we'll get some answers a little bit later. But over half of those reports, 191, still could not be explained. So they're going to go into the need more data bucket. And then there was the interesting part. Of those unresolved reports, they say that some were suggestive of phenomena whose performance characteristics exceed the known state of the art within a given domain. We don't know what happened there. There's no video of those ones. I know, extremely, extremely frustrating, but this is definitely giving a lot of people pause. Let's bring in space journalist, host of Endless Void, Kristen Fisher, because I'm sure it gave you pause too. Kristen, great to see you. What stands out to you about this report?
Well, what stands out to me, Gotti, is that it's about 8 or 9 months late, and the data is about 14 months stale on arrival. I mean, I was pretty disappointed by this report from Arrow, as I'm sure a lot of people who follow UFOs quite closely were, but I'm also not surprised that I was disappointed by this, right? We knew it was going to be late. We knew the data was going to be stale. I tell you what, though, the one piece that did stand out to me was reports from the U.S. Navy, pretty close to where I am right now off the coast of Virginia, reports of about 100 UAPs and 2 likely uncrewed surface systems. Arrow says that the case still remains under active investigation, but Gotti, that's all we got. No more details beyond that. So again, I was disappointed, though that was the case that I was most intrigued by.
And Kristen, sorry for the video that we were showing there, because because people are like, wait, hold on, that looks new. We were going through different videos and we were trying to decide what we're going to show. And yeah, like the jetpack guy from 2020, I think in LA popped up. That's what we're talking about there. That is not the jetpack guy that we're talking about from this timeline. But I do think that, like, you know, it was an accident that we put up that video. But I think that this is a perfect encapsulation of just how we still don't know the things that are flying around in our sky. That happened in 2020 in Los Angeles, one of the busiest places in airspace here in the United States. And like, that is still a mystery. I don't understand how that can happen, and yet it is something that we don't know what was flying around. But the whole idea of these things being picked up by sensors, the 100 UAP in your neck of the woods, and then there was that quote, that exceeding state of the art. What did you make of that?
Well, either way, whatever the answer is, it's troubling, right? Either something is outperforming the U.S. military's best sensors, or our sensors and military assets just aren't good enough, aren't capable enough of figuring out and tracking what these things in the sky or in space really are. But at the end of the day, Gotti, it really gets back to something that you and I have heard, especially when we were at that Disclosure Foundation's forum on Capitol Hill. We were speaking together, and the thing you heard over and over was, we need more data, we need better data, we need better sensors. And so that is the one thing that is just even more crystal clear after this report today from Aero. The U.S. military, the Pentagon, NASA, everybody needs more sensors so that they can figure out what these things really are.
One of the things I love about your reporting, look, it's so difficult to talk to people who are very into space and take the engineering of aerospace very seriously about UAPs, because they're like, no. And then there's a lot of people that take the UAP situation very seriously, and they're like, oh, we don't want to talk about like Artemis. You live in that middle ground. And to me, I did appreciate in this report some of the prosaic explanations where you're like, okay, now we can start really classifying things pretty quickly. The satellite flaring, for one, that's something that we've heard in the past, and it seems like that is now become a very known phenomenon. Did you see that? And do you think that that's going to hopefully solve the case on a lot of these reports that we see in the upper atmosphere, or seeming like they're up in the upper atmosphere?
I didn't see that on the satellite flaring, Gotti, but I am encouraged by the renewed effort by NASA. We spend so much time talking about the Pentagon, but there really is this renewed effort by NASA to look into some of the things in their files that they have left unaddressed and not investigated for so many years, especially some of the big questions up on the moon. And so I'm really hopeful and encouraged that now, with the Artemis program and astronauts hopefully going back there in 2028, that we'll finally get some more answers about what those things were that the Apollo astronauts saw.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. There's only one way to find out. We got to go up there and see it for ourselves. Kristen Fisher, thank you so very much. We love your podcast and everything you do.
Aw, thanks, Scotty. Great to see you.
And turning now to an NBC News exclusive, and a mystery over 70 years in the making, as the wreckage of Pan Am's Clipper Endeavour has finally been found. That flight, extremely important for plane safety in crashes over the last century, as the wreckage was found sitting deep in the waters off of Puerto Rico. Tom Costello has more.
In the deep waters off Puerto Rico, a 74-year-old mystery finally solved.
Oh, stop! Oh my God! Is that a plane? That's a plane.
There, 2,000 feet below the surface, sonar and high-def images of the instantly recognizable Pan Am logo, of a landing gear and a tail.
Done deal. That is an engine. That is a full engine.
That is. And the shiny, bright aluminum fuselage resting on the ocean floor.
Oh my God, there's writing. It's her.
It says Clipper Endeavour.
This morning, in a Today Show exclusive, the Discovery Channel team is announcing Clipper Endeavour has been found.
So this plane was coming here to New York, right? Yeah, to what's now JFK, and it was Good Friday.
Yeah, people were flying up here from Puerto Rico for the Easter weekend.
Pan Am Flight 256 left San Juan, Puerto Rico on April 11th, 1952. On board, 69 passengers and crew. But shortly after, the pilots lost both right side engines. 9 minutes later, the plane crashed. But in 1952, there were no flight attendant safety briefings.
There was no demonstration of where the exits were, where the flotation devices are. And so in all of that chaos and all that panic, 52 people drowned in and around this plane.
17 people survived. In the dark depths of the Atlantic, the plane lost for 7 decades.
It was really out of reach in 1952, and it really took until now for the technology to catch up, to be able to reach down.
Then last month, Josh and Russ were offered one of the world's most advanced autonomous underwater drones, normally used for surveying gas and mineral fields. They had just 2 days to search.
We were against the clock on this, and we had kind of an idea, a pretty nice search box that we wanted to search.
It took only 1 pass.
Oh, God. That's a plane. Whoa. That's a plane. Look at that. Oh, my God.
The haunting images of an icon of American travel, the final resting place for 52 people, and a crash that changed aviation safety forever, as the government soon ordered pre-flight safety briefings for every plane.
Whether you're going on vacation, going home for the holidays, or you're a business traveler, every time you set foot on a plane, you owe a debt to what happened to Clipper Endeavor.
Something to think about the next time you hear that safety briefing. Tom Costello, thank you so much. And over in Italy, firefighters are battling some massive fires in Sicily during a major heat wave there, and we're learning how the mafia actually played a role in possibly sparking some of those fires in the past. NBC's Claudia Levanga has more on that story.
Plumes of smoke filling up the skies as wildfires break out across Sicily. You see planes here flying low, dumping water to tame the fires. One local politician posting, "We saw families fleeing from their homes with what they had in their hands." Several cities on red alerts and under evacuation orders during Italy's peak tourism season. Europe's record-breaking heat wave, along with dry conditions, fueling massive wildfires across the continent. So far this summer, France getting hit. And over in Spain today, firefighters battling a blaze as more than 1,000 people evacuate their homes. It follows last year's historic high for wildfires ravaging across Europe. And while officials in Sicily haven't signaled any foul play, blaming the flames on the heat and strong winds, that hasn't always been the case. In 2023, massive flames surrounded Sicily's capital city, even shutting down the main airport. The mayor of Palermo saying at the time, according to local reports, these are serious crimes like those committed by the mafia. They are crimes against humanity. All raising the question of whether there is a darker cause behind the devastation. In 2022, an anti-mafia commission looking into the cause of Sicilian wildfires interviewed a local official who said many who've been indicted have been found to be mafia members, even connected to the Sicilian Cosa Nostra. And a UC Berkeley study found over 70% of wildfires in Sicily in 2021 were caused by arson, specifically tied to vendettas, land disputes, protests, and weaponization of fire by the mafia. It also cites testimony in 2017 that fires will be intentionally set for profit-seeking. For example, to transform rural land for building or development, or to create temporary employment opportunities. Now, with an island on edge, the heat and fires impacting local water supplies, no indication of any arrests. Emergency responders work to extinguish the flames, then attention will turn to who is responsible.
Fascinating report. Claudio, thank you. And coming up in the future of everything, a gas station in the stars sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, but one of Jupiter's moons could be a key resource in getting people way beyond Mars. That's coming up next.
Did it... Can you believe the price of dark matter?
Can you believe the price of dark matter? Good thing some of our ships these days run on methalox, but Futurama, they definitely predicted the need for a whole lot of gas stations in space. And what's better than a gas station? How about, I don't know, like a Chevron or a Wawa on a moon? See this special little celestial body that we've got? It's got more oil reserves than all of Earth combined. It's a gaseous beauty. It is Saturn's Titan moon, and it has so much methane that it apparently can fill up lakes. And methane is what makes this happen. Watch. There it is. That's Starship, Methalox, powering that. Here to talk to us about all things intergalactic is our friend, Professor Michio Kaku. Always a pleasure to see you. It's interesting to watch that launch because for a long time, Methalox, they weren't sure that was going to be a good option when they had other ways to get up into space. But Titan as a gas station for future missions beyond Mars, beyond possibly the further reaches of our solar system, what does Titan look like?
Well, first of all, let's say for the moment you're a pilot and you're piloting a starship and the buzzer goes off and all of a sudden, you're low on methane gas. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? The first thing that comes to mind is Titan, because that Titan has methane gas. 5% of the atmosphere of Titan, a moon of Saturn, is methane gas. Think about that. In fact, there's probably more methane on Titan than methane on the planet Earth. And that's in outer space. And so we're talking about a gas pump in outer space. Now you may say to yourself, but what about the dangers of an explosion? What happens if you have an inflaming all that methane gas? Don't worry. There's no oxygen out there. So you're not going to get an explosion because of an oxygen flame going off. And so what are the problems then? The problems is, of course, it's very cold out there. Minus 170 degrees centigrade. It's cold out there. And of course, there's no oceans. I mean, there's oceans, but no land. And so where are you going to land your rocket ship? It's going to have to be like an amphibian riding on the water of the moon. So there's some technical problems. But the main thing is this is a gas pump in outer space.
We can't wait. Hopefully that's closer on the horizon than we'd hope. Here on Earth, I hate to say it, it's a little crass, but when I think of methane, I think of maybe cow emissions. And we think of oil and organic matter in some forms of life. I know that this is on Titan. Titan is almost 1 billion miles away. How do we know there is so much methane on Titan? And is there a chance that there could also be some sort of life in the past or life that exists today?
Well, we know a lot about the chemical composition of the planets and the moons by looking at the spectrum of the lines. And by looking at the characteristics, the chemical, physical characteristics, we can pretty much tell that is methane gas that's there, and that it is in principle a treasure trove, a gas pump in outer space. Who would have thought? In fact, it is the only moon in the solar system that has these characteristics. It's unique, and it's right there in our doorstep. And so that could change the whole nature of the space program as we head up past Jupiter onto Saturn and beyond.
Oh, I can't wait. And again, I'm hoping that that's a lot sooner than people think. And we've got Dragonfly, right? There is a mission to go out. I mean, we're not talking
2 years.
Yeah, what is that mission looking like here?
Well, Dragonfly is a mission where we're talking about like a small helicopter that's going to land into the atmosphere. And remember that most moons don't have much of an atmosphere. Our moon has no atmosphere at all. But methane is 5% of the atmosphere of Titan. 95% is nitrogen. And as a consequence, we need a propeller device, Dragonfly, to slowly land on the surface and give us a chemical and physical characteristics of what's on Titan. Because Titan could be the gas pump of the solar system.
Again, we cannot wait. I know that that's probably not going to be powered by methane, but if you had to give it a ballpark in the next 100 years, do you think we're going to be able to access some of that sweet Titan crude?
I think so, because we're given the fact that we're sending probes out there to see how much atmosphere there is, see the chemical composition, whether or not we can land on the surface, whether it's just oceans or whether there's any islands that you can land upon. So we're going to use that as a playground for scientists who want to find a gas station in outer space.
And no one describes what it might be like on other planets like you. Michio Kaku, we always love to see you here on the show. Thank you so very much
My
for coming.
pleasure. Anytime.
I know it's raining outside and probably raining methane on Titan tonight too. Michio, thank you. And still to come, introducing you to a different type of orchestra, one that still brings the tunes and a whole lot of vibes, but first you gotta see this. Some folks in Colorado got an unexpected visitor Sunday morning when a bear broke into their car and got stuck inside, but wait till you see some MacGyvering. The owner came out, he heard the horn honking for hours, so guess what he used? You can kind of see it right there on the side of your screen. He's using a rope, and then he stands pretty far away, and then they use that rope to open the door from the safety of a garage and bring that big guy out of there. He ran off unharmed, but not before trashing every side panel in the car, even setting off the driver's side airbag. Eesh. We'll be right back.
Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Orchestra is pretty much doing the opposite. They're called the orchestra. I'm usually in Los Angeles.